Welcome to the How to Heal podcast, the show where we explore real life stories and practical tools to thrive. I'm your host, Lindsay Trimarchi Ricter, and through over a 15-year journey of all things healing, I'm here to hook it up. If you're feeling overwhelmed, looking for a deeper connection, or straight up in a psycho-spiritual crisis, I got you covered. Let's unearth your unique elixir to purpose, peace, and progress. Here we go. So welcome, guys. I really appreciate all of you tuning in. If this is the second time, at least, or the third time you are listening to an episode and you like what you hear, please give me a rating. I could use some ratings. And also follow me over on Instagram because you'll get to be able to put a face to the name in the interim of me uploading video content to all of the podcast spots. So welcome. Good morning. It's a rainy morning here in New York. Today we're talking about core energetics and what that means. So initially, I was just going to roll out, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And then I realized I actually wanted to name the podcast Core Energetics. And I figured it would be a good episode to have as core energetics and what that means, because the core energetics portion is where the convergence, where all these roads meet. Where the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual roads meet is the core energetic portion of what you're working with, girl. Okay. So you got to just flow, go with the flow, but you can control the flow. You can direct the flow. You can modify the flow and you can own the flow. I think it really is the intuition and motion part where you start to listen, be receptive, and act in ways that allow you to just guide the vibe, right? So in the first core energetics episode, I talk about your energy being innate, you having a core essence, an energy essence that you come into this life with. So let's not forget that. However, that's the sort of that, let's call that the song, but the volume is something that we can turn up or turn down. When we neglect the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual pillars of our life, that volume goes down and the frequency of the song goes down. So instead of hearing the song clearly, it's like a station that's like not coming in clearly. And let's not be fooled. The people around us in our experience, they like to hear shit clearly. We like to have clarity. It's very comfortable and productive to have clarity on who you're around, what they're saying, and like what the goal is. So when your frequency is down and your station is coming in staticky, people around you are not receptive to it. And that happens way before you can even realize it. So you're like, oof, like oh man, I remember so many times, like when I was in the city, especially, it just caught up to me. It caught up to me. I was eating poorly. I was doing so many things just that weren't feeding my soul and were actually detracting from my energy. So I was like not sleeping well. I was eating poorly. I was using substances. I was not doing things that made me feel good, not speaking kindly to myself, all the things. We don't need to go into that. I tell you these things because I want you to know, guys, I've been there. I know what it's like to not take care of yourself and to feel like you can't take care of yourself. And like, shout out to the people that are sitting in front of their laptops, not able to just get their shit together. It's okay. And guess what? I am better off for the moments of strife and depression and darkness and confusion that I've been through because I know what it's like to have to pull myself up out of that. And that action of pulling myself up out of those moments is what gives me steadfastness in my life now. So if you're listening to this and struggling with any of those things, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. So just keep listening, keep tuning in, and give me some ratings. So anyway, we're talking about just that energy of staticness, the frequency of static, not being clear, not being strong, not coming in. Let's just call it like what it is. It's a lack of integrity, right? So when we're not tending to our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual forms of health, our frequency is going to get dull. And again, that extends out from us before we can even track it. So the inverse is true. We need to clean it up and it doesn't get cleaned up right away. So we can be working out, we can be doing the mindset stuff, we can be doing, emotional healing, and we can be in touch spiritually, but it takes time to catch up. That's why like manifestation is just doesn't make sense. It's just like you can't just step in to God's gates when you've been in hell, right? So like there's a transition period and it takes time to catch up. So let's not be fooled. We need to put the work in when no one sees what we're doing and when no one recognizes what we're doing. And then our vibe starts to increase, our frequency starts to get clearer, our message starts to get stronger, and people start to become more receptive to who we are and what we're about, and opportunities start to come in. So that's really what we're talking about when we're talking about core energetics. And I'm in this container right now with next week's guest. Her name is Amy. She's an amazing healer. She's an amazing energy healer. I can't wait to introduce you guys to her. She's talking this month about hypervigilance. And that is sort of like a stress response to making sure that everything is under control or being fearful that everything is not under control and then trying to monitor everything around you to make sure that shit is under control. And I love how she got so specific with it because it's something that I've always experienced in my life. I remember at work one time, one guy pointed it out and was making fun of me. But I'm so happy that he did because it really put a nail on how I responded to situations and how I would show up. And what he did was he was like, and I was like, oh my God, what a dick. But actually, thank you. Thank you for pointing out what I needed to witness of myself that other people are witnessing that I don't even realize is happening. So the hypervigilance stuff is a really interesting take on how the emotional energetics plays into the core energetics because it's that energy of worry, of sloppiness, of clumsiness, of fear, of anxiety. And it's not the energy of coming back to the body, stepping back into the breath. That is the energy contrast that you can really look at to understand what it means to come into a core energetic state of clear frequency. The opposite of it is hypervigilance. The opposite of it is, oh my God, like someone just tapped me on the shoulder. I'm like startled. Like I see a bug out of the corner of my eye and I scream way louder than I thought I was going to scream. I'm trying to control everything from a really like a satellite place as opposed to just coming back into the body and experiencing the moment after moment transition of breathing because that's all that we can do in the moment. Like once we start breathing, once we start coming back to our body, once we start coming back into life, then we can make an informed decision of what the next step is going to be. But if we're like out in Mars, like on some sort of satellite, trying to like puppet master the show without being in the show itself, our energy is not clear. Our energy is not strong. We are not commanding our core energetics. So I think just one quick thing that I want to talk about is core energetics and karma. And I talked a little bit about karma in last week's episode, but I think it's interesting to just play it into this energetic piece, the energetic health piece. When we clean up all of the pillars of health, again, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, our energy changes. And when our energy changes, we can start to see karma changing. I remember walking in the city when I first moved into Manhattan. I got these new, like, Italian designer boots. They were so cool. They were so fucking cool. Got them like, I think I got them in Soho or West Village or somewhere, I don't remember. And I would walk everywhere and not even like cool places. I remember walking just like in the heart of Midtown West, like in the 50s, I just for like hours and hours and just almost feeling the vibe of the city, but not even realizing, just like getting my energy out, feeling the vibe of the city, picking up a lot of shit in the city, and then like coming home. It was almost like I was getting into that flow state of just walking and getting lost and just walking and transmuting energy. That's what it felt like I was doing before I even knew what was going on. I remember I got home and I opened the key to my walk-up apartment and I walked into the like area where the mailboxes were. And in that instant, I had this feeling of every thought I'm having is affecting the karma of my future. Like it was like karma in motion. And I couldn't describe it really. I never did describe it. I actually never spoke to anybody about it. I'm actually, like, this is the first time I'm speaking about it now. That was in 2005. And I remember just being enlightened to the fact that when you transmute energy, your karma improves. And to bring it down to earth, for those of you who I'm losing, clean up the physical, clean up the mental, clean up the emotional, and harness the spiritual to lift it all up. We harness all of those things to lift our core energy. We can clean up our futures by raising our vibration of our core energy. When we raise the vibration of our core energy, we improve the interactions with everybody around us. And we welcome in circumstances that may not have been there, that we maybe not only have not been there, but maybe we were not able to see them. So I think this is a short and sweet episode, guys. This is it. But come visit me on Instagram. If you're checking my episode out more than once, this is the second time or more than you're here, come check me out on Insta. Say hello. It's at How to Heal. And you'll get to see a little bit more of me, my personality. I post a lot of content from the podcast, but I'm going to be coming in more to just sort of like show my flair because it's been fun. But I love you guys, and I'll see you at the next episode.